Last Sunday, we had a wonderful time bringing the Lakeshore service back downtown, and we had, as we talked about, 3 different liturgies in 3 different spaces. It was a little bit of a chaotic, but a joy-filled Sunday here at St. John's Cathedral. And this coming Sunday, we're looking forward to having everyone back together at the 10:30 service and kind of consolidating ourselves into that one focal service. Of course, we will still have the chapel service at 8 o'clock, bright one, with just a couple of verses of 2 hymns. Very simple liturgy there with the same readings and same collects in Rite One language. But at 10:30, we will continue on with this green season, that long season after Pentecost, where we delve into some of the aspects of our faith journey and our discipleship. And the readings that we have and the collect that begins the service really couch our thoughts and our meditation around this idea of God's mercy, that God seeks us out and shows us mercy, and that we are always living and abiding within that grace that is so freely offered to us. So we'll start off with sort of an acknowledgement of that care and that provision that God has for us with one of the most exultant hymns in the hymnal, "Oh, praise ye the Lord, praise him in the height," talking about God's faithfulness to us in this very majestic and quintessentially British tune by Charles Hubert Hastings Perry, Laudate Domino. Such a strong, majestic, Edwardian kind of turn of the century from the 19th to the 20th century English tune, and it has that kind of broad strut to it. This text was originally set by Perry for a large festival anthem for the Salisbury Diocesan Festival. And believe it or not, it has a main choir and a semi-chorus, and at its first performance, there were 2,000 singers in the main choir and 400 in the semi-chorus. You may also remember, if you've come to some of our evensongs, this is one of the anthems that our choir will sing from time to time at evensong. It's an extended piece, and so it lasts a little bit beyond what we would normally do at an offertory. But at the conclusion of this festival anthem, that hymn tune is where Perry introduced that for the first time. In the psalm, between the reading and the gospel, we have appointed, again, thinking about this idea of mercy, the very familiar words of Psalm 51 that end with, "Create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit within me." To reflect the more somber mood of the psalm, we'll be using a different simplified Anglican chant tone that reflects the sort of meditative quality of Psalm 51. So be aware that our tone will be a little bit different, but again, still very, very easy to sing. For I know my transgression, and my sin is ever before me. Against you only have I sinned, and done what is evil in your sight. So very plaintive, and yet, again, very tuneful and easy to follow. Picking up again on that theme of mercy, we will be singing at the communion, "There's a wideness in God's mercy, like the wideness of the sea." And in our hymnal, this is paired with this beautiful, beautiful tune by the American composer Calvin Hampton. Calvin Hampton spent most of his career working at Calvary Church right off of Gramercy Square in New York. And he wrote many hymn tunes in this sort of kind of pop rock sort of fashion. They have a sort of a bluesy feel, and it doesn't feel like a traditional hymn, like that Perry hymn at the beginning of the service. It feels much more like kind of an art song. And yet, he has this way of expressing the tenderness of this text, for the wideness in God's mercy is like the wideness of the sea. And then after the liturgy, we will be having our next fellowship lunch. So we hope that you will be prepared to stick around and have lunch with us. Lunch will be served in the Ross Hall. Hopefully we'll have good enough weather that maybe a few of us can go out into the courtyard and eat out there. We will also be having a ministry fair where you can check out some of the different ways to be involved here at St. John's. And again, just like last weekend, we have a wonderful day of liturgy and worship planned. We hope that you will join us here downtown at St. John's Cathedral.